who's logged into the meeting. And I want to point out again, our topic for today is our event manager training. So we're going to go through adding events to our ClubSoft system, how that connects to the web, as well as how to enable online reservations. For the duration of this call, I'm going to go ahead and mute all the phone lines just to eliminate the background noise, and then I'll open up the lines for questions periodically during our call. You'll see, if you're looking at my screen now, that I am just logging into our demonstration system as an administrator. For our training purposes, I do want to point out two things. I am logging in as an administrator, so if we are going to access something that you are not able to see or access in your own ClubSoft system, you may just want to connect. I'm going to go to delve into the events area on the left-hand navigation. I can click on events. Now, if you can point out, the default display is always going to be for the month. Additionally, I can view sort of these little miniature months here on the left-hand side, and I can skip ahead using the arrows if I want to use to view November 20 again. Additionally, I have lots of different views here at the top. I can skip the day if I like, or I can view a day, work week, which again is just Monday, Friday. I can view a week, as well as a monthly view. Everybody's really got their favorite. I tend to use the weekly most. Unlike the web display where we'll stretch the calendar, at this weekly calendar, I'd like to point out a few items. First of all, actually all of the items in this particular week you'll see have this little sort of arrow icon where these two arrows are chasing each other. That's actually an indicator that something is a recurrent event. So for example, we have this ladies golf clinic set up regularly, whether it's on a weekly or a monthly basis, something that again is set up for multiple days. Additionally, we've got our tournament, our member guest tournament, things like that. You'll see they show up kind of centered with a box around them. That indicates a all-day event as opposed to something at a specific time, like our 8 a.m. clinic, our 5:30 p.m. water aerobics, and so on. Now, in terms of add events, you'll see in the top menu here, we have the option to go to new event. What I find to be a little bit more helpful is sometimes I'll just double-click the day, open up and either add or edit an event. Now, looking at this particular screen, we're just going to kind of take it top to bottom. The name, of course, is the actual name of our event. So maybe we're adding in a yoga class. The category, of course, lets us designate what type of event is. And this is really, it's not something required, and it's something that often gets skipped by ClubSoft users. The reason I like to point it out is members actually have the ability on the calendar to search or sort events by category. So if I'm interested in seeing what fitness events are going on or what golf events are going on at the club, I can narrow it down by that category. If I don't have that category selected, I really miss out on that feature. So make sure you always select a category when you're adding your event. Going back into that looking glass, if the category that you would like to have available is not here, you'll notice I have a little button here on the top right to click Add. So I can quickly add a new category like, let's say, bridge. Additionally, I can always go in and change this. So I can just select that looking glass until I select up to the category that I want. Now the start time and end time, obviously we've got a date and time, and maybe my yoga class is going to be from 10 to 11. We can do that. You'll notice the drop-downs only show times on the half hour. Well, what if my yoga class is actually from 10 to 11:15? You can actually change the time by selecting these options. There is actually a trick to it because we're constantly checking to make sure that it's a valid time. So what you want to do, as opposed to just deleting it and trying to type it in from scratch, the system will give you an error. You really just want to correct, so highlight one number and replace it. So if it's 11:05 or it's 11:15, that's going to allow you to sort of customize those times. But just be aware, if I tried to highlight this or just this back half and hit backspace or clear it out, it's going to give me an error. It's going to say we need to have a valid time. So just change that those numbers at a time to update your specific start or end time. Additionally, if we don't know the time of maybe a tournament or event or a dinner in the future, or maybe it genuinely is just an all-day event, perhaps we want something on our calendar to say Happy Thanksgiving or club closed, we can simply check this box for all-day event. In general, the times are important because they actually denote the order of how things display in the day. So your all-day events are always going to be at the top of the list, and then we're going to have 8 a.m. breakfast, 12 p.m. lunch, 6 p.m. dinner. It's going to put it in order of that time. Now, a lot of people make mistakes with these check boxes here on the right as well. We want to keep things as simple as possible for you in ClubSoft. So you really don't need to select these boxes unless you want to limit the display. So for example, let's say this yoga class is for employees only. I don't want members to see it on the calendar. I can select that option. Or if it's for, again, I don't want employees to see this event, I can select it to members only. Because most of our events are not things we need to hide from one group or the other, most of the time we're leaving these boxes unchecked. One great example, we have a club in North Carolina. They have all of their private catering events loaded onto their ClubSoft calendar. So the Smith-Jones wedding, Little Bobby's bar mitzvah, and so on. And what they elected to do is they're putting all those private catering events on their calendar and simply clicking employees only. That way, when the members go to the calendar, they don't see the Smith-Jones wedding, but when employees go, they do. These are really just the vitals, that really the only things that you have to have for any event that you're going to add to the calendar. But there are lots of other options. You'll see below in this description area, we've got our website kind of framing around our editor tool. And this is where typically we're putting in the details for our event. Agenda, bring your own mat, who the instructor is, all of those different things. Now, it's become really popular as of late. Clubs typically do a lot of great, just really beautiful flyers for their events. Instead of having to copy and paste or recreate those flyers here, most of the time in Word or in Publisher or similar programs, as opposed to saving it as a Publisher file or saving it as a PDF, you have the option to save it as a JPEG. So we'll take that beautiful Publisher flyer, save it as a JPEG, and then load it here. And you'll see this kind of row of icons. This is our editor tool, things like spell check, find and replace. Moving my mouse over any of these icons is going to describe what they are. And the image manager, of course, for this area is the one most used. It's going to bring up, again, all of the images I have available in my library. I also have the option to upload. So I can upload my flyer. I'll just click upload, browse for wherever that particular image is, and simply upload it to my system. So really, really simple to do. Again, I'll click on the image manager. It's that little mountainscape icon. I can browse or just grab something that's existing. So let's see here. We'll grab, we've got our Shark Tales, our movie event. I could actually grab that image or that poster, click insert, and that would put it on my page. Now, obviously, you've got all the same formatting options that you have with your marketing or your web pages. And you'll see here some pretty familiar icons in terms of doing tables, copy paste, aligning text, formatting it, and so on. So this is really the area you're going to put all your details. For your wine dinner, again, maybe you want to list the wines that you're presenting, your accompanying hors d'oeuvres, who's going to be doing the presentation, what you're going to be covering in the class, and so on. And again, because we have so many clubs that are doing those flyers or doing that content in other programs, I always recommend save as a JPEG, load that image here, and then it looks exactly like that flyer you've got posted at the club.